Oi boys, welcome back to another video on the channel. This is a Rugby League 26 state of play, and as most of you know already, unfortunately this week's update was not a gameplay update. There weren't any patch notes, and for the most part it was a pro team store updates as well as a brand new season. And from reading through people's thoughts on this new season, which we will dive into in the background, just looking at this new feature tab here in the main menu, it leaves a lot to be desired. I do want to quickly go through whatever's in this new pro team season, and we want to get to gameplay and talk about what was said in messages by a Big Ant rep. Okay, so as I was saying, reading through messages, people that still play pro team were unhappy with the new season. So we're in season 3. And we're coming off an obsidian reward, Reece Walsh to be exact, for reaching max level. And the biggest complaint I've seen so far were the rewards for this season. They're all these, I guess, stream team packs, and the final one being a pack as well. No rare card or anything. I do get we are in the off season of the NRL, but you gotta admit these level progression rewards are pretty mid, especially when you compare it to what we've just gotten, the obsidian Reece Walsh. Not that I ended up grinding for it, but it does pale in comparison. With the new season and it being a new week, we got some new packs as well. The Rookie Errors Offensive. So reading the description of the packs, it says players with a strong offensive playstyle in their debut season. And here are the players they have selected for set 1. Now, much like the level progression rewards, these potential pools out of the new packs have been met with the same dissatisfaction. And I'm not gonna lie, I do agree with the majority. You've got some diamonds for Toby Rudolph and Regan Campbell-Gillard. Some Sapphire Manly players. No disrespect to Manly, but come on. Corey Waddell, Josh Aloiai, and for the Emeralds, Mikaele and the Dollar. Some weird selections, I've got to say. Now, admittedly, I can't remember. Maybe if Toby Rudolph had a decent debut season, but players like Reg, Aloiai, Waddell even, I can't really remember them being offensively solid. Hopefully we do see some recent rookies get a diamond card, as there have been some absolute guns recently, like a Halasima, Jeremiah Nanai. I would say Harry Grant, but he's already got a diamond. Okay, so we have the golds here for 1000 PTC, 7040 points, 2000 for the Emerald pack, 15,000 40 points. Let's get through this. Open a pack real quick, because I do want to talk about what's to come for the game. Another new animation here. We have a Sapphire Josh Aloiai. I'm not gonna lie, that pool gave me zero dope. Let's go talk about this game. Alright, so here's what's going on. This is straight from a Big Ant rep, and he says, hey, yeah, team's still working / testing. We have about 10 so far. I hope next week they will come out. And this is obviously alluding to the planned sliders we're talking about a few weeks ago now. First off, thanks to Dingo for the heads up on this. And there was a name attached to this message, but we didn't really need to have their names in it. Just know that it is from a Big Ant employee. Recently there have been some trolls joining the Discord servers where, for the most part, people like to have constructive chats about the state of the game, constructive rants even, but I think from the join code I've been sharing, we've been getting some trolls. And if that's the case and you're an admin from those servers watching this video, I'll just go ahead and dead the code, because honestly it is just a waste of time scrolling through the absolute dribble that goes on in a specific server. But yeah, back on topic. They've got 10 planned sliders already. They didn't say which. And at this point, I'd rather wait for them to have that whole 30 plus. Then again, if this is the type of timing they're on, for it to come out with Cricket 26 already out and them going through the process of ironing out on that game, that does put our Rugby League game on somewhat of a back burner. And that sucks, because the game in its current state is nowhere near where I imagined it would be. By the way, off topic, I did see the release for Cricket 26, and reading through Steam reviews, it's actually got mostly positive, something we haven't seen for a Big Ant game for the last 3 releases. AFL was mixed, Rugby League was mostly negative, as well as Rugby 25. Dipping their toes back into the rugby genre has been a bit of a rough ride. I guess with more time they'll eventually get it right, so the question is, how long will it take? But yeah, back to the current topic at hand. With Rugby League 26 around this time, 3-4 months post release, I thought would be in a decent spot, but in its current state it still isn't better than Rugby League Live 4 from a gameplay standpoint. Remember, for a lot of people, including myself, a polished version of Rugby League Live 4 was like the bare minimum, the standard, and we are definitely below that in the game's current state. That honestly blows my mind. Since we got that big update with like new animations and whatnot, the game's been going back and forth from being an enjoyable experience to an annoyance. And it's mostly because the core gameplay itself, from movements to just the basic set plays even, just isn't anywhere near where it should be. Even with the changes to the ruck that I suggested, it's hit and miss if you're going to get some fluidity or not in attack. Alright, so seeing as they're still working on the sliders and whatnot, I do have some suggestions of my own on what I would like to see. The obvious being offload frequency and success rate. I've recently had a few matches of the older games, specifically Rugby League Live 2, and something I do like about it is the way they attack. It's super simple, and we have touched on this in past update videos, and that is just our second phase play. It's just way cleaner in these older games. Even the support play, it's like not even comparable. If you have support play in League 26, they're like out of position. Sometimes they're directly behind you, which you can't really take advantage of. But going back and playing these older games, you can see the spacing, the movement off the ball. It's like seamless, honestly. What I will say about the older games, they had superior defensive systems, especially in League Live 1 and 2. Because if you think about it, all you're doing in this game is using your right stick to move into the player. The older games had like a proper little rock, paper, scissors type system, where specific decisions you made on defense somewhat affected how the computer would react. For example, if you tackled low a lot, it would trigger an offload, and if you spammed the ball in all tackle, which is like the chest, you were likely to get fended off. Honestly, I say bring that system back if it's going to improve the way the computer plays. Is that possible to do with an update? They've brought back animations from Rugby League Live 3, and I'm pretty sure I saw one from League Live 2. If that's a thing, I'd assume so, right? I'm not sure, but it should definitely be at the top of the list for a future iteration. So yeah, the sliders I'd like to see first and foremost, the offload frequency and success rates, and also on the topic of attacking sliders, I'd like to see sliders for specific areas on the field. For example, inside the 20, I'd like to see an attacking urgency slider, where if bumped up to the max, the computer, every time they get into the red zone, they throw the kitchen sink at you. In that sort of subgroup of inside the 20 sliders, there'd be pass frequency, again the offloading frequency and that. Something to spice up the attack inside the 20, because for the most part, the computer more often than not like just grabber kicking into shins. Another slider for inside the 20 would be scoot frequency. Hell, I'd like to see a dummy half scoot frequency slider in general, just to tone it down a bit, because they do love a scoot. And lastly, with sliders, if there's a way to make backs just feel all around faster than forwards, because you don't really feel that difference, especially when playing with NRL teams. In the background, there'll be footage of the NRLW, and actually playing an NRLW match feels way smoother than playing with the men. If they can suss out the reason why that is actually a thing in the game, they should implement whatever that reason is to the NRL. Now, if you have any slider suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. But yeah, that's it from me in this video. Another somewhat slow update week. It's been 3 in a row now. Look, I'm hoping they cook it in the background, because there's still a lot to do, a lot to tweak on the gameplay side of things. I guess we just have to wait and see. For now, we will call it there. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to run straight that like button, and for more Rugby League related content or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.